He was just an ordinary mason who always minded his own business till that one particular day.
So, Mr. Baker, my colleagues are gonna take the little girl inside.
When his daughter was wrongly framed in murder of her best friend. So this Texas worker had to leave for France to find the truth.
Are you good?
The truth that will either haunt injustice or him.
We have exhausted every possible legal action.
Welcome back to Paramount Recaps. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
This letter tells me that your daughter has not accepted her sentence.
The movie kicks off with Bill Baker, an oil rig worker from Stillwater, Oklahoma, who's just lost his job. He's out and about, looking for part-time construction gigs.
Operator dropped the rig, we stacked, I got laid off 6 months ago.
And drops by his ex-mother-in-law Sharon's place to help out. Sharon's sick and using an oxygen tank, so Bill helps her around the house, and she gives him a few things to take to his daughter. Bill heads to his daughter's room, which is at Sharon's house, not his, and grabs some of her photos. At the airport, he spots a gold Stillwater necklace in a gift shop. Bill then flies out to Marseille, France, and checks into a Best Western, where everyone seems to know him. He's clearly a regular. That night, the music from the next room is blaring, so he heads to the balcony and asks the woman next door to turn it down. She says she doesn't speak English. Bill puts together a care package and heads to the prison to visit his daughter, Allison, who's been convicted of murder. The logbook shows he's made several visits. Allison's been locked up for years after being charged with the murder of her girlfriend, Lena, who was killed while Allison was abroad. The media went wild with the story, but Allison and Bill insist she's innocent. Allison says Lena had been with someone else that night, a guy named Kim. She hands Bill a letter for her lawyer and makes him promise to deliver it. Bill agrees and goes to see the lawyer, Imame Lapark, but she's not available. He decides to hold on to the letter until he can personally hand it to her. Back at the hotel, Bill notices a young girl, Maya, sitting outside the door of the room next to his. She seems locked out, so he takes her to the front desk to get a new key. Later, Bill meets with Allison's lawyer, Mit Lapark, who reads the letter. She tells Bill that Allison's exhausted all her legal options and there's nothing more she can do. Bill heads back to the hotel and the woman from the balcony, Virginie, drops by to thank him for helping Maya. Bill finds out she does speak English after all and apologizes for the mix-up. Virginie explains she and Maya are staying at the hotel while their new apartment is being prepared. She offers to help Bill if he needs anything, and he asks her to translate Allison's letter. Virginie agrees and realizes who Bill and Allison are when she reads it. The letter mentions that one of Allison's professors heard someone bragging about stabbing someone and getting away with it. It asks Lapark to investigate this lead because Bill can't handle it on his own. Bill returns to Lapark's office to push for help, but is told that Lapark is done with the case. They give Bill info for private investigators, which makes him furious, and he storms out. Bill tries talking to other lawyers, some of whom barely speak English. He finally meets a private detective named DeRosa who reads the letter. DeRosa, a former cop, explains how tough it'll be to find this guy if he's already on the run, and then get a DNA sample to match with the crime scene. It'll be super pricey, 14 grand. Bill scoffs and walks out. Bill meets up with Allison, who's eager to hear what Lapark said. To avoid breaking her heart, Bill tells her Lapark is looking into it, and Allison is thrilled. At the hotel, Bill gets help from a staff member to track down the professor's contact info. He goes to the university and meets the professor, who gives him the contact details for the girl who heard the lead on Kim. The professor says the girl doesn't speak English and won't help translate because of the potential bad optics. Bill gets Virginie and Maya's address from the hotel staff and buys a toy for Maya. He updates Virginie on what's going on, and she agrees to reach out to the girl for him. Bill also offers to help with some plumbing and electrical work in Virginie's new place, which she accepts. Virginie agrees to go with Bill to meet the girl and translate. On the way, they chat. Virginie's an actress and doesn't have much of a relationship with Maya's dad, who's a fling living far away. Bill shares that Allison's mom committed suicide and Allison was raised by her grandmother while Bill worked on oil rigs. Virginie realizes Bill must have had a serious substance abuse issue when he mentions hitting a reporter. When they finally meet the young woman, she brings a friend who aggressively tells her not to talk. The situation heats up, and Virginie advises Bill to back off. Virginie points out the housing community where the young woman lives, but says they're unlikely to talk to an outsider like Bill. Meanwhile, Allison tells tells Bill that during a parole meeting, she saw someone from Le Parc's office who seemed unsure about her case. Bill says he'll take care of it. Virginie looks up photos from the party where the confession was heard and prints them out, thinking a Kim might be in them. She tells Bill to take the photos to Allison for her to identify a Kim, but he refuses because he doesn't want Allison to know Le Parc isn't working on the case. Virginie is puzzled, but asks if anyone else knows what a Kim looks like. Bill remembers the bar owner saw him, so Virginie and Bill head to meet him. The bar owner, who's pretty racist, says he'll lie and say any of the kids in the photos could be a Kim. Virginie is disgusted and leaves, refusing to deal with him anymore. She and Bill get into an argument. She's angry about his lack of reaction to the racism, and he's focused on getting his daughter out of prison. Virginie decides she's done helping and storms off. Sharon calls Bill, asking how much Le Parc will cost now. She says Allison mentioned hiring her again. Bill's answers don't make sense, so Sharon says she'll call Le Parc herself, while Bill pleads with her not to. Running out of time, Bill visits Allison, who is confused and hurt by what's really happening. He just asks her to look at the photos to find a Kim, and eventually, she does spot him. Bill takes the photos and goes to the project area himself, asking around and showing a Kim's picture, but no one is willing to help. 4 mini. Eventually, a bunch of young guys starts messing with Bill, and it quickly turns violent. They end up beating him up. A Kim shows up, and one of the guys shows him Bill's picture and tells him that Bill's been looking for him. Virginie goes to the hospital to see Bill, who's recovering. He tells her he only had one contact and he used it. Bill goes to see Allison and admits that Le Parc wouldn't help, so he took things into his own hands and found a Kim. Allison's furious and asks why he didn't take the picture to the cops now a Kim's gone. She's frustrated and tells Bill she doesn't want to talk to him or see him anymore. 4 months later, Bill is still in France, working construction. He's living with Virginie and paying rent. He picks up Maya from school and spends a lot of time with her, even letting her help him with repairs in the basement. Virginie is casually dating a local theater director. Meanwhile, Le Parc contacts Bill and says Allison has been approved for parole 1 day a month, with no one else to care for her. Bill signs the papers to supervise her. He asks Virginie if it's okay for Allison to visit, and she says it's fine. On parole day, Bill picks up Allison in his construction truck, which he explains is from his new job. Allison hasn't been reading his letters, so she doesn't know about it. Bill takes her to buy flowers, and then to Lena's grave, where Allison lays them down. They go to a quiet spot by the water, and Allison talks about how she loved Lena. But once Lena moved in with her, she started seeing other people, and Allison felt used. She wishes she could see Lena again. They head to Virginie's place, where she makes dinner for them. At the table, Allison asks if Bill and Virginie are sleeping together, which embarrasses Bill. Both Virginie and Bill say they aren't. Bill and Maya play together while Allison and Virginie chat. Allison says Bill seems happy, but then warns Virginie to be careful, sharing a story about how Bill let her mother's things get thrown out because he didn't pay the storage bill. She calls him a screw-up, just like she is. When Bill returns Allison to prison, she hugs him and says she's happy for him. Later, Bill gets a call and rushes to the hospital. Allison tried to hang herself. Virginie comforts him when he gets back home, and the next morning, Maya sees that they fell asleep in the same bed, still dressed from the night before. Bill gets back into his routine, spending lots of time with Maya and even attending one of Virginie's plays, despite it being in French. Afterward, they have dinner and both admit they might want to take their relationship further. They end up sleeping together, and the next day, Maya notices their romantic behavior. Bill surprises Maya with football match tickets, and she's thrilled. At the game, Bill spots a Kim in the crowd. He follows a Kim to a restaurant, with Maya tagging along. Once Maya falls asleep, Bill kidnaps a Kim, ties him up in the basement, and brings some of a Kim's hair to DeRosa for a DNA test. DeRosa is concerned that if Bill's done anything illegal, it could land him in jail instead of freeing his daughter, but Bill insists on going ahead with the test. Maya finds out about the man in the basement, and Bill tells her he's a very bad person and asks her to keep it a secret. The DNA results take days to come back, and Bill is stressed out, having to keep a Kim in the basement and feed him while waiting. When Bill checks on a Kim, he pleads for his release, saying he only did what Allison wanted. A Kim claims Allison paid him with a gold necklace, and when he mentions that the necklace said Stillwater, Bill is shaken. Still, he tapes a Kim's mouth shut and leaves. Bill calls Sharon to ask if the Stillwater necklace he got for Allison was with her during the trial, but Sharon doesn't know what he's talking about. The next day, Virginie sees DeRosa hanging around outside the apartment. He pretends to be a building inspector asking if there's been any noise or smells from the basement. Virginie is suspicious, but he leaves before she can question him further. When he's gone, she looks at the basement door. Bill picks up Maya from school, and she asks if he's going to kill the bad man. Bill is horrified and assures her he'd never do that and would never let any harm come to her or her mom. When they get home, they're immediately surrounded by police, who take Maya away and force Bill to unlock the basement. Bill is expecting to be caught, but the basement is empty. Up in the apartment, the police question Bill, Virginie, and Maya. The lead investigator asks Maya when she last went to the basement, and Maya lies, saying it was yesterday. The investigator warns her not to lie and threatens to arrest Bill, but Maya sticks to her story, and the police leave. Virginie, who let Kim go, sends Maya to her room and demands the truth from Bill. He admits everything, including how he saw Kim at the game and that Maya was with him. Virginie tells Bill he has to leave immediately. Bill says he never wanted to involve them and pleads with Virginie, but she insists he must go. Bill tries to say goodbye to Maya, but she won't speak to him. He packs up and Virginie brings Maya out to say goodbye. They hug and cry. Bill returns to the Best Western, and Lippard calls him in for a meeting. She tells him that DNA evidence matched both the crime scene and a recent burglary, which is great news for Allison. Allison is released and gets a tattoo of Lena's name on her wrist. They head back to Stillwater, where the town throws a celebration for Allison's return and exoneration. After the party, Bill asks Allison if she remembers the Stillwater necklace he got her. She breaks down and admits she gave it to a Kim, but only to get Lena out of her apartment, not to kill her. She cries, asking if he hates her, and Bill assures her he could never hate her, she's his daughter. Later, they sit on the porch, and Allison says she can't believe how everything looks the same. Bill disagrees, saying it all looks completely different to him now.